I'm ready.
How I look?
We are good. Good morning. Buenos dias, everyone. Here we are again, Monday morning after a beautiful weekend. I am Elizabeth Colon, and this is a show about nothing.
And I'm Marisel Melendez, and it's a show about everything. Cheers.
Cheers. I don't have coffee today. I have a big old glass of water. And she has water.
Same.
And we have a fabulous guest with us today. I am so happy to have our guest with us who Marisel discovered. And Marisel, when she discovers somebody, she immediately sends me a message to connect with them too. So Marisel, I'm going to give you the honors of introducing our guest.
Yes, it is an honor because I love cooking con Omi. Cooking con Omi. And it was love at first sight. I was like texting everybody, have you seen her show?
Yes.
We're at home and what else to do but to cook con Omi.
Yeah.
So, welcome to our show. Thank you for everything that you're doing. You're bringing joy into our kitchen. Because for me personally, being an owner of a restaurant, I do not cook. I do not like the kitchen. La comida, but you make it so much fun.
Oh gosh.
So thank you for coming on to BoricuaTalks, and let's hear all about Omi.
So wait, before Omi starts, you have to throw in something. My brother doesn't like social media, but he found you, Omi. And he sent me these text messages. You gotta check her out. You have to check her out. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna be on our show. So you have so many fans. So now we can shift back because I was laughing because he doesn't like, he's not on Facebook or anything like that. But he found you. And you're probably the reason why he's probably on Instagram now too.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for this opportunity and what you're doing for the Boricuas everywhere.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Tell us about you. Tell us, how did you get started with this Instagram that you have now over 50,000 followers?
Oh my gosh. It's still surreal to me. I don't even understand how it happened or when it happened or what exactly happened. But I was at home like everyone else during quarantine. And I remember, actually, my husband had just had knee replacement surgery in February. And I was home for 6 weeks taking care of him. I took a leave of absence from work and I was here at home taking care of him. And the week that I was supposed to return back to work was the week that everything was shut down.
Wow.
Our state was shut down. My job never opened back up. The schools didn't open back up. Everybody was home. And of course, I think after about a week, you get cabin fever. you start to get like that anxiety, like, okay, like what are we gonna do? Like I'm running out of ideas here. And I love to cook. I've always loved to cook. But I am a professional makeup artist. That's what I do for a living. And so I could have very easily made makeup videos, but I'm like, for what? I'm not gonna waste my makeup. First of all, makeup is very expensive. And where are we gonna go? To the sala, to the dining room? Like, where are we going? So I didn't want to cook. I didn't want to do makeup. I wanted to cook, and I've always cooked. So I was like, you know what? This would be fun for me to just show what I'm cooking every day. And so I started posting my videos on my makeup page. And then I very quickly realized that I was turning my makeup page into a cooking page. And I'm like, wait. I can't do that. I'm like, I think I need to open up a cooking page. So I did on Instagram. And those videos, the quality was horrible. The sound was horrible. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to show people the way that I do things. But then I discovered TikTok. I very quickly realized that on TikTok, I can't dance. Just can't do it. But I saw somebody making a recipe and I saw other people making recipes. I was like, that's kind of cool. I really like that. And of course, the challenge on TikTok is that you have to make everything 1 minute. And I was like, man, but I don't even know how to work TikTok. Like, I have no idea how to work all these buttons. I'm like, okay. But I figured it out and I posted my videos and they took off out of nowhere. And Cooking con Omi has taught me so much about myself, has taught me so much about really who I truly am. I think even with my makeup business, I was trying to be very, you know, to the line, to the T.
Yes.
I wanted to be very proper. I wanted to make sure that, you know, can't be too much of that because people may back up. They might not hire you. Like, so I was kind of holding myself back in a sense. Cooking con Omi, when I'm in the kitchen, I'm bringing back everybody who taught me to cook. I'm bringing my mother, I'm bringing my grandmother, I'm bringing my aunts, mi titi. I'm bringing them all into this kitchen with me, and I'm them. When I'm cooking, I'm them. And that's who I am. And the minute I started being true to myself and being who I truly am 100%, that's kind of what has been the magic to Cooking con Omi without even knowing it.
I love that you say that because many, many years ago, I felt the same way that you were. Like, I felt like I had to be like this, right? Because I built a company very quickly. And like within the first 3 years, it was in the 7 figures, right? And then everyone started calling me like this badass Boricua and this powerhouse person. So I portrayed myself like that. Like I would walk and I was very rigid and people would think of me, they were very intimidated by me. But it was a heavy burden. Like I felt like I wasn't true to myself. And it was hard to network because I felt like all the energy was sucked out of me because I was trying to be something I wasn't. So I love that you say that because I can only imagine as a makeup artist, you're very serious, right? Applying makeup and having conversations. And this is like a 360 for you. And I don't even know you, but I just can imagine that this whole new personality that was embedded deep down inside of you finally just came out, right? And then now there's this new level of happiness that you probably found with yourself.
100%, 100%. And what most people don't know is that the last 2 years of my life, before 2020, before COVID, before anything, they were pretty much the toughest 2 years of my life. I've been dealing with my husband's health, him recovering from several injuries, surgeries that he needed to have, and you know, that responsibility was a lot. And we have a big family. We have 4 boys. And so when you have so many moving parts in a household and you've got, you know, 1 man down, technically, I'm now being outnumbered. And so those 2 years were really tough. And I made up my mind that I was not going to let circumstances, COVID, whatever it was, I was not going to let it get me down. I was not going to let it stop me from growing or stop from what my potential could be. So I kept claiming it. I kept saying, you know what? No matter what's going on, God, you got my back. You got my back. That's it. That's it.
You portray that. You portray that in the kitchen, all that energy and all that love. Con ese amor, that's why you are blessed with so much people following you because they feel that love, that positive energy that you give out. And that's what we need at these times, being at home. So you took your creativity of being a makeup artist because I believe also that in the kitchen, you are creating these beautiful, decorating the dishes so they can look so yummy, and the ingredients y la sal y pimienta que se quieren casar. I just love them.
I swear, all of these things, all these little sayings that I guess I've made them into isms, Omi-isms, they came out like just as I'm cooking. Like it just happened that I was like, ay, mira, sal y pimienta se quieren casar. I was like, oh snap, did I just come up with something? And then like there was only one video, and I could, to this moment, I can't even tell you what video it is, that at the end of the video I took a bite out of my food and I was like, me cago en nada. And then I was like, did I really just put that on a video? I'm like, what? We're just going to put it out there. We're just going to leave it how it is. We're going to edit it and put it out there. And then everybody started loving it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why?
Well, my
so now they become onlyisms that I'm like, bueno, ya, aquí me quedé.
Yes, se tiene que quedar. My friend Karen, she watches you from Texas, and she's salvadoreña. So she's like, what does me cago en na mean?
Esa es la expresión más jíbara que puede existir. Esa expresión es tan y tan jíbara. And I grew up in a finca. We had a finca in Puerto Rico. So my grandfather, that's all I would hear. Me cago en na. Se escapó la cabra. Me cago en na. Coge el pichón este. Like, it would be always something me cago en na. So I grew up hearing that all the time. And so when I, again, you know, when I talk, I say these things and I don't even realize that I'm saying them.
But they're great though. I love the one when you were in the bathroom with the cleaning products.
Oh yes!
I'm cracking up so hard on that one.
Always, when I tell you, I'm gonna take you back to Puerto Rico when my mom, mira, no hay nada más satisfying. There's nothing more satisfying de pegándole la manguera a lo que sea. A mí me encantaba pegarle la manguera a todo. And my mom was one that she used to put soap en el balcón de afuera. She used to put soap, o en la marquesina. En la marquesina ponía jabón y con la manguera, pegándole la manguera. And I used to run from one end and get on my knees and slide to the other end. Y eso, that was my part right there. That was my playground. I'm like, mira, mami. But all of those things, I promise you, like, I think about all these things all the time. I'm like, I remember Saturday mornings in my house. I remember vividly cleaning la silla, las mesas, el baño, los zócalos, se limpiaba todo.
Well, I don't know about you, but when I lived in Puerto Rico, that was like the hardest chores in the house because you had to clean the marquesina and you had to pull the hose. And Omi, like you, I slid one time, but I broke my toe. I broke my toe doing that, and that was it. No more. I slid right into la orilla, one of the marquesina, the what is it, the edging of the walls, and there goes my toe, and it broke. So
I did like you know, cuatro elefantes se balanceaban sobre la tela de una araña, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Me and my cousin were going around, and she let go of me. We were going really fast, and she let go of me, and I fell.
Oh no!
And I hit all of my front teeth. I hit my teeth en el zócalo de cemento. I was 9 years old, and all of these adult teeth went in.
Oh no!
Every single one of them. And I went to the orthodontist. I went to the dentist, and they, you know, ended up pulling them out. But I still have one yellow tooth. I have a yellow tooth from that.
Recuerdos.
It's there. It's a memory. It's a constant memory. It's right there. So everybody looks like, why do you have a yellow tooth? I'm like, listen, it's a long story. I don't know.
That's funny and hilarious. So tell us, how have you dealt with your popularity? What has it done for you? How does it make you feel?
So I think that sometimes I forget that it's there, because I'll go somewhere, and especially where I live in I live in the smallest state in the US. I live in Rhode Island, right? And it wasn't until Despierta America, when they invited me, that people in my state were like, I know her, because remember, again, I'm a makeup artist. So my clientele, I've been doing this for 8 years professionally. So I have a very wide clientele. And they're like, I know her. Oh my God. And then I'll go to like the Walmart in the corner near my house, and I get all these looks and I don't realize that I'm getting the looks or why I'm getting the looks. Maybe I start looking at myself like, se me quedó algo, ¿qué pasó? Like, what? And then I remember, I'm like, oh. And then the other day, you're gonna laugh, I went to this bodega in Providence. There's a street that's very well known for just being predominantly Latinos, and it's Broad Street. And on Broad Street, there is this bodega called America's Food Market. It's nothing but Latino food. It's like everything that you would not find anywhere else but like in your country, it's there.
Wow.
So I went there specifically para comprar una máquina de verdura para mondar la verdura para hacer pasteles.
Oh.
So I get there and I'm walking out of this place with this big old máquina de pasteles, and somebody's like, I got my mask on, my hair is out. Omi! And I'm like, what the heck? And I turn around and she's like this. And I'm like, Wapa! And I walk right out.
That is amazing. That is such amazing, you know. And
there are days that I don't.
No, it's like you incorporating your mother. That was hilarious as well, because te regañó, y esa es mami. Como yo digo, I'm 47 and I know mommy.
Yo, it doesn't matter how old.
Me la da.
No. Mm-mm. It's not.
It doesn't matter how old I am. It does not matter. Ella todavía me corrige, me regaña, me mete un cocotazo si necesita hacerlo. She is your true Puerto Rican old school mom.
Yes.
My mom is true Puerto Rican old school. She's gonna be 69 years old, God bless her, this next year, and she's amazing. And with her little self, she has no problem with talking to nobody.
Yes.
Tú, ven acá, ven acá. I was like, oh my God.
That was hilarious. I was like, I said, Mom, that's my mom. I was like,
yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Marisel's mother, yes, I would totally agree. My mother is very passive and very bien seria. So when she wants to say something, she's like, ay, pero Lisa, déjate de eso. Like, you know, ella no regaña. I don't think she's ever raised her voice at us and everything.
Oh my God.
But just seeing Marisel's mother, like interacting with her, it brings me so much joy because I just can imagine, you know, no, yo te pego, no te creas. And my kids now, right, we're all Boricuas, we speak loud, right? My son always thinks that I'm yelling at him, right? Why are you yelling? Look at me, grita. I'm like, no.
I'm not yelling. I'm not yelling. This is my volume. I'm Puerto Rican. I don't know what to tell you.
That's right.
People tell me that a lot on my videos. Why are you yelling? I'm like, I'm yelling? I'm like, I didn't think I was yelling. I'm excited, but I'm not yelling. Trust me, you don't want to hear me when I'm yelling.
Right. So, I mean, when you're cooking all these, when you're cooking all this food, are you eating it or are you doing it more for presentation?
Claro que sí, que yo me lo estoy comiendo. Estamos en pandemia, no vamos a gastar comida. We're not wasting no food. We don't waste no food in this house. We eat it.
You eat it? Oh my God.
We eat it. Oh yes.
How is your boys? Are they like, oh Mom, because I'm like, I was looking at your story because, you know, I'm always following you. I'm a stalker.
Yes.
That's kind of part of my job. I'm a journalist. So your boys, what are your boys saying? Like, oh my God, Mom, stop it already. Or Mom, you're like making me popular as well. Because when I go out, that happens too. Everybody knows your name.
They are in the beginning. I think that what happened was that because I was incorporating, if you scroll all the way down to my TikToks, a lot of them were part of my TikToks. Almost all of them were part of my TikToks. And so they were just having fun with me. But then when they started to see that I was doing the cooking videos, part of the reason why I have my music on is because they're in a corner playing and with their toys and their guys, and they're like, wah, rah, rah, all these sound effects. And so I have to have the music on because otherwise that's all you're gonna hear in the video.
Okay.
So they don't think anything of it. when I'm making the videos, it's when I show them the videos. They're like, Mom, let me see what you did. And then I'll show them the edited version and they're like, that's nice. Sometimes I get no response. Sometimes I get overwhelming response, but they don't think anything of it. I think now, because they see like the response that people argue, like when we go out in public and they see people's response, they're like, Mom, do they know you? Do you know them? I was like, no, baby, I don't know them. Like,
oh, that's amazing.
But they're awesome. And my husband is super, super supportive. And he's so incredibly involved in all of it in terms of, you know, assisting me. Like, yo hago todo el regalo en la cocina y él me limpia todo.
Oh,
so, like,
nice.
You know, so it's a really good teamwork. He just hates the camera. He does not like to go on camera, but he's always in the kitchen with me, believe it or not. So it's a really nice dynamic. I'm really, really happy of how close we are and how much closer we're getting because of Cooking con Omi, because they're starting to see more of that, like, Latino side. I know that if you guys know, my husband is Black.
Yes.
And so when I met his mom 17 years ago, the first thing I did was I was up in that kitchen learning what she made, right? Because I wanted to know some of her dishes. And of course, I teach my boys both cultures. I'm teaching them soul food. I'm teaching them Puerto Rican food.
Nice.
But now, one of the things that I get asked a lot is, do your boys speak Spanish? I'm like, unfortunately, my boys speak Spanglish. They understand it, but they don't really speak it.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a lot of like, mira, enséñale. I'm like, listen, enséñale, yo le puedo enseñar todo lo que yo les quiero enseñar, pero ellos están hablando inglés en la escuela.
Mm-hmm.
El papá le habla inglés. Yo en Rhode Island estoy sola. I don't have my mom here. My mom came now, but like, I don't have my mom here. So predominantly they're hearing English. And as much as Spanish I want to say, it's hard sometimes because I'm the only one teaching them Spanish. But now with Cooking con Omi, because I've chosen to make it mostly Spanish, they're hearing it more and more, and you have to hear them sometimes, the things that they say. I was like, mira mira, okay, I hear you. And I love it. It's the best.
Well, hopefully that'll teach them to appreciate the Latino culture, right? Growing up in the home, you know, and being around it's like one thing, because I'm guilty of the same thing. My kids habla Spanglish. And there's nothing more in this world than I want them to know Spanish. I want them to interact with our culture and stuff. So you turned in an idea into something really big, and they're going to appreciate, you know, speaking Spanish eventually, the culture, the food, and they're going to take that with them, which is really awesome because you didn't intentionally, you know, you like you say, they're surrounded with English, right? But now they're seeing a whole different element of the Latino culture, and that's just such a great and fun way of teaching them Spanish.
Yeah,
you know?
And they're asking more questions, where before I used to tell them these things and they'd be like, okay, Mom, okay. And then they walk away and that was it, right? But now they're in depth, asking more questions, wanting to know more, wanting to learn more. And I love that. And I love the fact that even, you know, when they're hearing me saying certain words, I'm done with the video and they're like, Mommy, what does this mean? And they'll say the word, and I'm like, so I love that. I'm telling you, this whole experience has been amazing overall in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So many different ways.
Yes. What's next for you?
Oh my God. Listen, I need help is what I need. I need help with, and now it's becoming overwhelming, the task of, because I really, really, really believe that the community that is of Cooking con Omi, a lot of my people probably don't realize this. When I say, hola mi gente, I genuinely, you are my people. Like, I want to take care of, I want to respond to you. I want to interact with you. I want to make sure that you feel connected. I want to make sure that you're getting what I'm putting out there. Like, you know, it takes work to make the video, but it's so much more gratifying when somebody says to me, I am learning from you. I am I had a woman tell me I'm 65 years old and I'm learning to cook with you.
Oh, no.
And I was like, wow. It's so amazing to me. And so like when I say
love it.
Mi gente and I want to be connected, right now, the overwhelming response of what is Cooking con Omi, my DMs, my email, my private messages, everything is really out of control right now. So I need help.
Let's look for an agent. We need an agent, an assistant.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And then of course I know also that there's a responsibility that comes with how you say things and what you say, because when I say mi gente, I'm not just referring to Puerto Ricans, although yes, that is what I'm predominantly making, but I'm also introducing other cultures into our culture. I am allowing other people into this, cuisine that is so amazing, and culture that's so wonderful. And I want to make people feel like they're a part of it. So I don't want to take the fun away from that. And I feel like, when you start to look at all the responsibilities that come with being a quote unquote influencer, there are so many things that can happen that can take the fun away. And so I'm doing my very, very best to not do that, to appreciate the now, to enjoy, the little things, because it's important to stay focused on what's truly most important, which is, for me, is to maintain our culture and our dishes alive. I said it before. I know for a fact that Puertorriqueños somos el confeti del mundo. We are everywhere. And we are such a little tiny island, but so many people migrated out of Puerto Rico and have been everywhere else. And a lot of things get lost along the way. And I want to make sure that we bring those little things back and that we don't forget. So that's my main focus.
You're doing it. You're bringing it into our house. And I could just, like I said, I just fell in love with you more, but I did not follow you correctly because I haven't done the TikTok. I'm old. I don't know.
So you're not. Okay, so you haven't followed Omi, but you made something one day. I don't remember what it was, but she went to the kitchen and made an alcapurria in the shape of a donut.
Dona Capuria. La Dona Capuria, that was where our first original show. I did the video, it's out there. And everybody was putting at Ponce restaurant, they wanted to put an order. I want an order. Like, ay, Dios mío. I blame Cooking con Omi.
I know. Can I tell you that a lot of, anytime I think of a recipe that's out there, it'll come to me at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll be laying in bed and all of a sudden my eyes will wide open I got an idea. And then the next day I'm itching to do it. I'm I gotta do it. I gotta make it. And that day, it was 8 o'clock at night when I fried that alcapudona. Eran las 8 de la noche. Esa alcapudona estuvo así todo el día, toda la noche. I was la estaba repitiendo. I'm telling you. And there's another one, la montaña navideña, the mofongo at the bottom, chicken in the middle.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Again, another random thought. I'm at Walmart and I look at a cylinder. I saw this cylinder thing and I was like, I wonder. And that's how the idea came.
Well, you're going to be known as a chef around the country without actually going to culinary school. But just coming up with ideas.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea how many times, mira, eres una chef. I'm like, really not. I just really like to cook.
You make everything look so good. You were making those shakes. You're like, this is really good. I'm like, oh my God, I want to go in the kitchen and make one too. Because you make it sound appealing. When you taste it, it looks like, oh my God, this is the best shake or the food or whatever it is. It's the way you present it that, counts. And anybody who probably doesn't like to have a fruit shake will probably have one with the way you make it, because the way it's just amazing. It's so much fun. I mean, you have this burst of energy and Look at this. You have creativity. If you're sleeping at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, waking up and saying, better they have an idea. Let me go with this one. And a lot of people would normally get up and write it down when you just get up the next day and do it.
Yeah. I have to, and I let the people lead too. Like I let the comments, the requests. I have a lot of people requesting recipes. Some people asking me, hey, do you know how to make this? And I'm like, that's a good recipe. Yes, I have an Omi twist for that. That's the thing. Every recipe that I put out there always has an Omi twist to it. Every time, unless it's something that's like sacred. Like if it's like un arroz con pollo, I'm like, that's sacred. You don't touch that. You don't mess with that. You know what I mean? But everything else is always gonna have an Omi twist because en tu cocina tú manda, pero en esta mando yo.
Eso que sí que. I see a cookbook in the horizon.
Oh, I told her that already. I said, you got start writing that book because I'm gonna buy it.
I love it when people ask me for recipes and I'm like, bueno, la cantidad de ajo que te llega a tu corazón. I'm like, I don't really, I'm like, I'm not measuring a thing. I'm like, this is why baking is not my gift. Because I can't measure. Like, I try to measure and I'm like, that's bad on me. That's not how that's done.
I love that we don't measure things.
So, mami, un chichín de sal, un chichín.
Y un poquito de aquí, un poquito de allá. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. When I made the pasteles video with my mom, I was like, mami, entonces, ¿cómo se hace esto? Mira, un foie para acá y un foie para allá. Entonces le echa un puño de esto, un poquito de aquello. I'm like, I'm never going to get that.
Un foie, un pollo, un puño.
No, that reminds
like that.
But that reminds me, it helps my sister because my little sister wanted to learn to cook from my mom. So she ended up coming to the kitchen con las tazas at the measurements pa mami. Mami le sacó un grito que ella se fue de la cocina llorando.
Yeah, that's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen.
No, nope. Not at all. So we're almost coming to the close of our show. So Omi, you've learned a lot through this pandemic and COVID. You sort of reinvented yourself. You found like more happiness within yourself. What kind of advice do you want to give our audience when it comes to just what the future holds for us? You know, this is going to be around for a little bit longer than we expected, right? How do we deal with this and what do we do to discover our own creativity during this pandemic?
If there's one thing I really want to emphasize is don't let it stop your growth. Don't let it stop your future. Don't let it stop you from wanting to do more, from wanting to do that goal, wanting to do this goal. However long this pandemic is going to be here for, that should not stop your life. That should not stop your desires in life, because waiting for anyone else or waiting for anything else, we'll be waiting our whole lives. And that's one thing that I cannot stress enough. Time waits for nobody. Time waits for absolutely nobody. And so long as you're doing what makes you happy and you are fulfilling what your purpose is, whatever that purpose may be, you're going to find so much more joy in everything that you do. Everything that you do will be done with joy.
That's great.
Amazing, amazing words. It's like I've been trying to introduce my new pet, and let me call her so she could come here, Coco. Come here, mommy. Come here. Come here, mommy. Here.
She gonna pay attention this time?
No. She's like, that's your show, mommy. You do it. Come here. You gotta try that. Viste, me hace caer mal, but that was very good advice. We have to take it and run with it. Don't let nothing stop you, not even COVID, because eso también va a pasar, tú sabes, para otra persona. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know this is one of many shows because we're going to be following your growth. Yes. We're very blessed. And I'm so proud to be Puerto Rican and having you in my kitchen showing me a thing or two. Thank you.
Yes. Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you again. This was a lot of fun.
It was wonderful having us on our show. And this ends our weekly Café con Bustelo, but I don't have my Café con Bustelo today.
Poquito de agua, ya me vi el café.
Mucha agua, mucha agua. Everyone have a wonderful week. Thanks for joining us. Omi, mil gracias. I can't thank you enough. I know you're busy, so to be on with us too, you know, hopefully upcoming stars one day too, that means the world to us that you took the time to be on our show. And te lo agradecemos muchísimo.
Absolutely. That's what it's about. And this is something, if I can say one last thing, and it is something that I'm getting ready to address very soon. There are so many influencers out there. There's so many people doing the same thing that I'm doing or whatever. There is a very true importance behind standing by people instead of competing with them. There is no need for competition.
Yes.
There is room at the table for absolutely everybody. And I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, just like you guys may not be everybody's cup of tea, but you got your audience out there and I got mine. And the important thing is to help each other out. Todos los shows americanos que iban a salir ya han salido, pero ¿dónde están nuestros latinos? We have a very big community, and we need to stand up, and we need to help each other out.
Love it.
De nada me vale crecer yo y no ayudar a mi hermano o a mi hermana que venga conmigo. So, helping each other out, I'm a huge believer.
Oh, so powerful.
Así dice mami, aquí hay para todo. And that's why it's, Ponce's been in business for 22 years. 22 years, y es porque aquí hay para todos. Tú haces de tu manera, and that was such a beautiful message. Thank you, Omi. We are so grateful for those kind words, and we understand to the T. Si no te gusta BoricuaTalks, pues, I don't know what you're gonna do, pero this is number one.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great week. Love you. Send hugs and kisses. Gracias.
Bye.